Hello and welcome back to the Gaily Digest. I am Nigel.
And I am Joshua.
Welcome, Joshua. We have got another packed show for you today. It is also a special for Men's Mental Health Month. So we are going to be talking about men's mental health, as particularly in the LGBT community, in conversation today. We're also going to be talking about our usual complaints in the complaints closet. We've got a little bit of news for you and some phobias as well, with a little guess the phobia. So without further ado, let's crack on with the show. It's Men's Mental Health Month this month, and we've got a little bit of news that I'd like to highlight. I think it's quite relevant for Men's Mental Health Month. And it's a little bit of news, ironically, I saw this morning before, obviously, we started recording today. So this is some news regarding a family who have spoken out over their teen son's struggle with bullying. Now, he was only 13 years old, and sadly, he took his own life after suffering bullying at school about his sexuality. So he it was back in April this year when he did it, at the start of the school holidays. And the news has obviously come out now because there is a pre-hearing or pre-coroner's court hearing for the main coroner's hearing, which is going to be taking place next year. And it turns out that this young lad, Leighton Taylor, took his own life because he had been open about himself in school, telling people at school that he had a boyfriend. And he suffered homophobic bullying as a result of that. And I think it's quite important that we highlight that now, especially at the start of Men's Mental Health Month, because it does happen and it still happens, and it doesn't matter how old you are, that mental health will affect us. It can affect us at any age. And this poor lad took his own life because he suffered the bullying and he just couldn't take it anymore. And the school had no idea until all this information came out as part of this pre-hearing. I think it's quite tragic that he didn't feel he could open up and talk to people about what he was going through. And in the article that I found, there are pictures of him, and he just looks so happy, enjoying life. And it's just a shame that it's quite tragic that he had to hide a lot of what was going on and didn't really open up and talk about it. And I think that's one of the tragic things around men's mental health. It doesn't matter, sort of, as I say, what age we are, but there's a lot of men that don't like to talk about it.
Yeah, I think me and you have both had mental health issues and things. I've had a plethora from the age of 15, so I call myself an expert. But I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't come out till I was about 19, because school is already incredibly difficult, especially if you stand out already. Well, people don't realise how much bullying can affect you, because I say that when I was bullied, it still does affect me today. So like 20 odd years later.
I suppose it's trauma, isn't it, that you carry from it?
Yeah, and you can't. For me anyway, it really affected my trust in people. I didn't really like making friends because of the type of bullying that I had. But schools nowadays, I would have hoped that schools would be more on the ball with this kind of thing. They would notice things. They would have things in place where they could talk to people. Because I didn't have that at my school. Mine was there was just nothing. But this just shows that even though nowadays a lot of people think, oh, it's fine to be gay now, everyone can be what they want and you can get on and nobody cares, but clearly people do. And this isn't just school banter that they would probably say is them people who call it banter and stuff. It's not just like name calling and stuff. It is mental torture and often physical abuse, and especially with males and lads. I personally wasn't brought up to say boys don't cry and things because, I've said many times, I'm a very emotional person. I just wear my heart on my sleeve. So if I want to cry, I'll cry. But that isn't the way for a lot of men nowadays, and especially lads nowadays. They are told boys don't cry. If you hurt yourself, like, come on, get up. You don't cry because you're a boy. You'll be fine. You're strong. And I think that ingrains a lot of like a mentality inside of you that you can't cry, you can't show emotions, you can't let things out, you can't talk to people about getting upset because that's not what boys do.
Well,
And
it's
I
what they
think
call
that's
toxic masculinity, isn't it?
yeah, and I think especially the last few years that has ramped up tenfold.
Mm,
It's just on another level now, and I think this is something that does need to be tackled because
mm,
it needs to be shown that I personally think it makes you a stronger person to talk about your feelings and let the emotion out because it takes a big deal to let your guard
mm.
down and be so open with people.
I think with this article, I found the article on social media, and it was also on a post on social media, and the responses to that post, I have to say, overall, the majority were very sympathetic, very empathetic to the child and his family, and they were very supportive. And a lot of the comments were saying things like, "This is why it needs to be taught in schools and stuff like that around sexuality, and why they need to stop sort of saying no, you shouldn't be taught about being gay in school and stuff like that because it's not age appropriate, this, that, and the other. About they don't need to learn about what they do in the bedroom and stuff like that." It's like relationship education when it comes to sexuality isn't they're not going to go into a school and then just teach you about bumming. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen.
But they always
All
jump
they're
to
talking
sex, don't
about,
they?
well, exactly, and all they're talking about, or all they're going to be talking about is some boys like boys, some girls like girls, some boys like boys and girls, some girls like boys and girls,
Some
some
people
people are
don't like any.
exactly, some people are transgender. It's not about teaching all the stuff that goes on in the bedroom, and it's quite concerning that that's the first thing that people go to. Oh, we don't need to know what they do in the bedroom. Well, good, because we're not going to tell you because that's private. Um, but as I say, the majority of the comments were overwhelmingly positive, and I have to say I agree. I think that same-sex relationship education should be taught in schools, and it should be age appropriate. They don't need to know ins and outs and details around what goes on in the bedroom and stuff like that, because that's that sort of stuff, particularly for heterosexual relationships, is taught at an age appropriate level when people are older, when the kids are older. So, but teaching this stuff and showing that it's not wrong, it's not abnormal, it's not disgusting, it's not vile, can go a long way to opening people's minds to realise actually there's nothing wrong with it. So why we're bullying people about it? So I think that there does need to be that change, and it's quite tragic that events like this that this poor lad has experienced and gone through, and the fact that he's lost his own life as a result. I think it's tragic that incidents like that are usually what instigates some kind of change, but by then it's
It's
too late.
happening too often. There's so many times in the news over the last few years we've had school kids unaliving themselves, and it's just you can't even put into words because
No.
you can't understand, and I think schools just need to do more. And I know a lot of the time you can't even notice something's wrong because a lot of it nowadays is online. You can't just when I was bullied at school, once I left school, that was the end of it until the next
Mm.
day.
You left it at school,
Really
and that was it.
I was well, I was still it still stuck with me when I was at home. I was worried and I was scared for the next day, but they couldn't bother me after school. But nowadays it is just relentless.
Mm.
It'll be on all of your social medias. They'll be texting you. Someone will share
Mm.
your number, and then you'll have abuse, or you'll have without calls shouting abuse. And
Mm.
spreading lies online about you, and I can't even imagine the bullying nowadays because I had it horrifically as a kid, and if
Mm.
I can't even imagine the internet really being a big thing back then and social media, I think I can understand how it can drive people to see no way out because it would be relentless.
Yeah, but sort of one final note on this. I think we just want to express our sympathy and our condolences to Leighton's family um, for their loss, and it should never have happened. It really should never have happened. It's time for Guess the Phobias. As we have done in the last couple of episodes, we have a little segment where we have a little bit of fun and we guess some phobias. And we pick a letter of the alphabet and we take that letter, and each of us has to come up with two or three phobias where we will try and get each other to guess what they are. So this week is E and F, and Josh has got E. Josh, what phobias have you got for me to guess?
Well, I've got the phobia again where I'm scared to pronounce them because they're really long, and especially the E ones.
Go on.
Although I feel like I do have this one, but I've got to try and pronounce it. I've asked the internet to tell me how to pronounce these.
Go on.
So this one is ecclesiopho. Ecclesiopho. That's what it says.
What?
Ecclesiopho.
Ecclesioph is not ecclesiophobia. Is
No,
it ecclesiopho? What?
listen.
Is it a phobia of pronunciation?
I have that phobia. Well, you can
Is
pronounce it for me with beer on the end.
it?
Ecclesiophobia. There you go.
All I'm thinking is fear of pronunciation or fear of words or something.
We need to find out what that phobia is because I have it. I get anxiety. Ironically, I'm getting anxiety from trying to pronounce these words. Do you want to know what it means?
Go on, tell me. Put me out of my misery. Not literally.
It's the fear of organized religion. I definitely have this.
I nearly choked on my drink then. Right, so I have got one for F. Phobophobia.
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 A fear of being fobbed off.
No.
I don't know. What is a fob? A key? They're scared of keys.
Phobophobia. No.
Oh, bobophobia. I'm thinking.
No. Phobophobia. It's F. It's F. Phobophobia.
God,
It's E and F, not B. We did B about 4 weeks ago.
Didn't I do the exact same thing last time?
Yes, you did. You did. You forgot that we're doing certain letters. Yeah, phobophobia. Phobophobia. Phobophobia.
Well, all I'm coming up with is a key, but you said it's not that, so I don't know.
It's a fear of phobias.
Oh. How can you? God, that must be exhausting, being scared of everything else.
Every single phobia you are fearful of. So you must have every phobia. Go on, your next one.
I think every one of our listeners will have this one.
Go on.
Ergophobia, and it's not eggs. Ergophobia is if I'm pronouncing this air, so ergophobia.
Fear of breathing.
Nope.
Fear of
that wasn't a hint. That wasn't a hint. I'm just saying how I was pronouncing it, not egg.
fear of reproduction.
No, it's not to do with eggs.
I don't know then. Go on.
It's a fear of work.
Oh.
Everybody has that.
Yeah, we all have a fear of that. My next one. I've got a few here that I can pick, but I'm trying to pick the best one. Francophobia.
Beg your pardon?
Francophobia.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's F. A fear of Frankenstein.
No.
I don't know that these don't. I'm never going to get any of these because they don't make sense.
This kind of makes sense.
What country does Franks? Where's that? Is that Germany? Or, I don't know. Fear of money.
No.
Oh no, they're Europe.
They're
Are they
euros now, you
Euro? Are
muppet.
they Euro? What? Where,
It's Europe. Europe has euros now, but you are actually on the
not
right.
everywhere in Europe.
No, no, but you are actually on the right lines though when you talk about francs. Which country has francs?
I'm trying to
What's
slow my brain down
what's
because I
the
nearly
nearest
said something.
what's one of the nearest countries to England?
France. Is
There
it
you
a
go.
fear of what? Fear of French people? That's just racism.
Fear of France, French people, or French culture.
So racism.
Francophobia is basically a racist phobia. It's a fear of France,
I'm
French
not
people, or
racist.
French.
I've just got a phobia.
Exactly. Oh dear. Go
Ooh,
on. One more for you. What
wow.
was that? Ooh. What was that? Ooh. Was that for your next one?
No, because I was reading something and it showed one with F, and then I went like, "Oh, I have that," and then realised I'm not doing F. I'm doing E.
Ooey.
God, I'm trying to. I can't pronounce these things right. Ecophobia. It might be
uh,
ecophobia actually.
fear of the climate. Fear of
Nope.
climate change.
Nope.
Fear of um echoes.
No, it
Fear of
is.
fear of Amazon devices.
Oh, that'd be a good one. She's always listening. No, it's a fear of the home itself.
What?
So you're scared of your home.
That'd be horrific.
Yeah,
I
no matter
couldn't.
where you go, you're fearful of it.
You know what? That would remind me. That reminds me of that Catherine Tate sketch where she played that woman who screamed at literally anything and everything because it just scared her.
Maybe she has that.
Possibly, possibly. Right.
You're not meant to go, you're not very prepared, Nigel. You should have a
Well,
list.
no, I have got a list, but I've got a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Yeah, we're not doing all
and I've
them.
obviously no, I'm not doing them all. But there's two. I think this one's probably frigophobia.
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 I'm trying to think what frig means, but I have no idea.
I may not be pronouncing it right,
I
given
bet
what
you're
it's
not.
a fear of. Given what's a fear of, I'm probably mispronouncing it deliberately.
That's
To
cheating.
it's spelled Frigo phobia.
Sounds like a Pokemon. Is
How
it
else could I pronounce it?
I don't
How
know.
else could Frigo phobia? How else could I pronounce it? If I'm pronouncing it frigophobia, how else could I pronounce it? How
Right.
else could I pronounce the no? How else could I pronounce the G instead of G?
I might have completely lost what this could be. It still doesn't make sense.
If I pronounce it frigophobia,
Oh, okay. See, why can't you just started with that? Well,
it would have made it too easy.
Boris Johnson doesn't have this, does he?
But no,
Is
it's
it a
not.
fear of fridges?
No.
Or, or is it a fear of kitchen appliances?
No, it is a fear of cold things or of becoming too cold.
Oh, I
You've got
have
that, haven't you?
that.
You've got that,
Yes.
haven't you?
I honestly, I won't go outside if it's a certain temperature. I'll just stay in for days. I'll soon as it
I have
drops below 2 degrees,
I,
I'm gone. I'm hibernating.
I I have to say, for the benefit of our listeners, the look on your face when I told you what that was, it was like sheer delight, like that
I
moment of
felt seen.
I've got that.
I'm the only person to get excited at having a phobia.
But yeah, that is guess the phobias this week. So if you've got any phobias that you can think of that begin with those letters, let us know.
Most chaotic segment ever.
It's time for us to have a chat, and we are going to be chatting on the topic of Men's Mental Health Month because I think something it's important for us to express is the fact that it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to talk about your experiences and talk about what you're going through. especially when it comes to mental health, because as we mentioned previously, there's this thing called toxic masculinity. Now, toxic masculinity essentially is when other men think that if you cry, if you show emotion, you're not a man. They use phrases like, oh, man up, like men are expected that they should be absolutely fine and they shouldn't be affected by emotion. They shouldn't cry. Well, wrong. Men can cry. Men should cry if they need to. Men should show emotion if they need to. They shouldn't bottle it up, because if they bottle it up, things happen, and it's bad things that happen. And we should be able to get to a stage where before anything bad happens, we're able to open up and share our experiences and talk about things. So me and Josh are going to share with you some of our experiences with mental health in the hope that it encourages people to be open and talk about their experiences. Now, I will point out, obviously, we're not counselors, we're not psychologists or anything like that. So us sharing our experiences is not a way of counselling yourselves. There is support out there, and we will put support in links on our social media accounts and on our posts when we release this episode. But I'd like to start by saying that for this month, you may have seen on my socials and on our podcast socials that I am doing a challenge this month, and I am walking or running 5 kilometers a day during the month of November. So I'm doing that to raise money for Mind Out, which is an LGBTQ plus mental health charity designed to provide support for members of our community, so that if they are struggling with their mental health, they can receive support and they can receive guidance and be directed to appropriate support if they need it. I am doing it for charity, as I said, and I am raising money, and I do have a GoFundMe, which we will put the link to on our socials, and we will put the link to on our posts when this episode goes live. So, my experiences with mental health have not always been great. I have faced certain kinds of trauma and certain experiences that have led to my mental health deteriorating. A few years ago, I suffered with my mental health because of bereavement. Now, those for me to talk about this is difficult, but I am going to be as open as I can because I think it's important to be open. Now, back in 2017, my grandmother had a fall at home. She went into hospital. We were expecting that she was going to make a decent recovery. It was a fall. She'd injured her hip. She was in a bit of pain. She was in there for treatment. And when she was fit enough, she was going to come out. She was released after a couple of days. Things weren't quite right with her. She was still in a lot of pain. So she went back in. On the 18th of December, so 1 week before Christmas Day, the family had a call to go to the hospital. We went to the hospital thinking when they call for us to go there, it's not usually a good sign. So we knew something was wrong, but tried to remain positive. We got to the hospital and we were told that my grandmother had suffered a severe acute asthma attack. Her breathing was becoming more shallow. She was struggling to cope with the effort of breathing, and her condition was suddenly and rapidly deteriorating. So we stayed with her and we sat with her. The doctor and the medical team came in to see her, and they closed the curtains, and the doctor came out and said that her condition was worsening. And he didn't beat around the bush. He just said, "I'm really sorry to tell you, but she's dying." And I'm getting emotional talking about this. So we just knew we just needed to be there with her. So we sat with her and we held her hands. I looked out of the window and I saw a sunset. The sun was setting over the horizon, and it was beautiful. It was perfect. So I took a picture, and I've kept that picture because that was probably the most important sunset I've ever seen. We sat with my nan, and literally minutes after I took that picture, she took her last breath. But before she did so, she managed to say 3 words to us. She said, "I love you." And then she was gone. That really hit me hard. And that was the beginning of a period of a mental health struggle with depression, for which I received counselling, especially around the bereavement. But it didn't stop there. I discovered 2 weeks later that a friend of mine had committed suicide on Christmas Day, a week after I'd lost my nan. He'd been struggling with his mental health, and I had no idea. He hadn't reached out. He hadn't talked to anyone. He just wanted to go because he couldn't cope. And 2 bereavements in a very short space of time hits really hard on your mental health. But it didn't stop there. In March, on my mum's birthday of all days, another friend of mine died of an overdose. And then 2 weeks after that, my granddad passed away. So I was hit with 4 bereavements in a very short space of time, in 4 months of each other. And I spent probably about 2 years receiving counselling for me to learn how to cope with that, to learn how to deal with it, and how to manage my mental well-being, because I hit low points, I hit high points. There were times where it made me think of life and value life. There were times when I felt so low that I just thought, what's the point? But I knew that I had people around me that loved me, that cared for me, that supported me, and kept me going. And I was able to realize that in doing so, and being able to talk about it and cry when I wanted to cry, I was able to share my experiences, and I was able to offload. And I think in offloading, it helped me not to bottle it up, because you bottle it up and it just gets to the point where you just you'll just explode. It'd be like a fizzy drink bottle. You shake it up, constantly so that the pressure gets too much. As soon as you open it, bang, the fizzy drink goes everywhere, and it's a mess. And you don't want to get to that stage. But I think it's important that if you ever experience anything like that, if you suffer with anything like that, do talk about it, do open up, do reach out, because you need to. It's not easy. Sometimes I think it takes great courage and great strength in reaching out and opening up and talking about things. Otherwise, you'll get to a point where you'll become very unwell, and it's to the detriment of your well-being. And believe me, you don't want to get to that stage. And I did get to that stage. Last year, I was struggling quite a lot with my mental health and mental well-being, and I was getting stressed. I was suffering with a lot of stress, and I didn't realize I was suffering with a lot of stress. And I didn't realize I was also suffering with severe anxiety. Unfortunately, I was having to cope with it so much and so bad, and I was suffering with it so badly that one evening I started experiencing a difficulty in breathing. I thought this is odd. I don't suffer with asthma or anything like that. I don't really know what's happening. And within a very short space of time, I collapsed. And I had an ambulance called for me because I went pasty. I was sweating profusely, struggling to breathe. And at first, people thought I was having a heart attack because the symptoms mimicked a heart attack. Then I suffered quite a bad experience where the right side of my face started to droop. And then they thought I was having a stroke. The symptoms I was experiencing were mimicking that of a stroke. And then from there, I was aware of what was going on around me. I could hear people, but I couldn't open my eyes and I couldn't talk. I was struggling to talk, and I ended up having two ambulance crews come out to me. I had intravenous fluids starting being put into me. I was put onto an oxygen mask. I was put onto a stretcher, and I was sent on blue lights to the hospital because they thought I was either having a stroke or a heart attack. I got to the hospital. I had all sorts of tests done. I had blood tests. I had X-rays of my chest done. All sorts. And it turned out I had a very severe anxiety attack. Now, some people will hear the words anxiety attack and they'll just think, oh, so you just got a bit panicky. But the symptoms of a severe anxiety attack literally made my body shut down to the point where I was struggling to breathe and I was struggling to be able to do most things that I could normally do. And I ended up having about 3 months of recovery following that because doing the simplest tasks, and I was diagnosed with severe anxiety from then, and doing the simplest tasks, getting up, going to work and stuff like that, just filled me with sheer dread. And I would just be in tears. I burst into tears and I could not bear the thought of it. So I ended up taking a prolonged time away and spending time doing some recovery and sort of searching within myself, really, as to where I was going forward. And it was only because I was able to open up and talk about it that I got support from those around me, loved ones. And I'm where I am today. And that's part of why, coming full circle, I'm doing this thing for Men's Mental Health Month because, as I say, I've had my own struggles that I've shared with yourselves, and they are deeply personal things that I've shared because I don't share them for sympathy or empathy or anything like that. I share them because I want people that are listening to understand that you can experience these things and you can cry, you can talk about it, you can open up. And I'm hoping that it might encourage others to recognize signs of things they're experiencing and going through. So, yeah, that's my story, really. Josh, have you got anything you want to share with us?
I'm just processing your story. It's quite intense.
It is quite intense, and if anyone listening recognizes similar things in themselves of what I've experienced, and they feel they need to reach out and talk to people, just remember there are agencies and support networks out there. Like there's Mind Out, there's Samaritans that you can talk to. You can go to your GP, see if you can get some counselling sorted. Don't suffer in silence. Don't suffer alone. You don't have to. Find someone you can trust. Talk to them. Open up because you need to. So Joshua, what would you like to share with us today?
You got all serious then using my full name. Add a bit of humour in the
Josh,
middle.
Josh, what do you want to share with us?
Well, I won't go into full detail of my mental health journey because we only have a brief window of this episode.
Hmm.
But as I've mentioned on a few episodes, in fact, we had a whole episode on my experience of an eating disorder, so people can jump back to that. But yeah, I started having bad anxiety when I was at school, as I've mentioned before. I think when I was actually quite young, actually, probably about 11, actually, I started to get quite anxious at school. I didn't like to be away from home. Then as I got to secondary school, I had quite serious, severe bullying, physical and mental, which really impacted me on how I saw myself, it completely destroyed my self-confidence, which still affects me now after 20 odd years. I still have like quite a low self-esteem, lack of confidence a lot of the time. Um, I had quite a serious assault when I was 15 at night. Um, that involved a few homophobic slurs as well, but I was quite severely like kicked and beaten. Um, I've had bereavements when I was going through the height of my eating disorder. It was a group therapy, and I lost everybody in the group. I'm the only one left. So my teenage years were pretty much a dark hole, basically. They were just a dark time, quite badly. Early 20s, late teens, I went out a lot, I drank a lot. I think that was a way of me trying to cope with things that were going on in my head. Um, and then I've kind of been managing it for a while. Recently, this year, I've had a little dip again. So I've been struggling with my thoughts, with my eating again, and still got my anxiety that's been getting quite bad again. But this time, as I've shared on my social media, because I'm very open about my mental health, I feel like if I get it out there, that way it's out there. Because eating disorders and things can be quite secretive. And like we said, hiding your feelings can end up quite dangerous. So I tend to just put it out there, I say it, and then that way it's out there. Then I can't pull it back in, so it's done, and then I have to deal with it. So recently, the last few months, I've gone back to an eating clinic to talk to specialists. I'm on the waiting list to talk to another therapist because I have CPTSD, which is complex PTSD. So I'm in the throes of trying to see another therapist when I've seen many therapists over the years, but this is totally new for me. This one, because obviously this is like an adult services,
Mm.
which is a lot more difficult to get. It is so difficult to navigate and get through the NHS to get therapy. It is so difficult, especially if you're over 25. You're in a different category, and it is so hard to get the help. You're on waiting lists for months and months, and there's not really people available that handle quite complex cases. So if you're someone like me who has quite a lot of different things that are kind of melded together, it's very difficult to get somebody that can deal with that. So I've been navigating all of that. Hopefully in the next few months I'll be able to see someone and work on them. But in the meantime, I obviously talk to you and Ash about it. If I'm feeling certain things, I will say I'm feeling like this today. I don't know why, but I'm just feeling very low today, or I'm feeling very anxious. I feel like something,
Mm.
a lot of my anxiety is like a sense of dread. So I feel like something bad's going to happen, even when there's no reason to. And I can say in my head, nothing's going to happen. There's no reason to be anxious. I could say it in my head, but I just have that feeling still. And it's never been something that I can fully get rid of. So it's kind of something I just manage and I live with it. Um, so yeah, that's my little draft over my story. I won't go into too much detail because I'll be talking forever, but mine's
Bless
kind
you.
of I'm still healing since I was early teens. I'm still going at
What
35.
I mean, something I will say on that is firstly, I've obviously seen some of your journey of what you've gone through and what you've experienced. And one thing I will say on that is you have made incredible progress in yourself, and you have shown what I feel great strength and courage in acknowledging what you're experiencing, what you're going through, and opening up and talking about it and being open about it. And I think it's important to give you that feedback and sort of give you that reassurance as well, because I think that kind of reassurance goes a long way to showing you that you can be open, you can talk about it, and you don't have to. Because I think if you were made to feel bad, for example, about opening up or talking about something, that's probably going to have a negative effect, and that's probably going to push you back and think, well, they don't care, I'm not going to talk about it. When you know it's important that and for people that are listening to this, if you've got a friend that opens up to you and talks to you, it's important that if someone is talking to you about something, now when it comes to mental health, they could be talking about a problem or an issue or something that's affecting them, which could be relating to their anxiety or depression or something like that, and that could make something that could seem to you to be a minor thing and nothing too much to worry about, but to them, because of their anxiety, it's amplified. And to them, it is a problem, and it's a big problem, and it's something they don't know the answer to, or something they don't know how to get out of it. So they're kind of relying on you to acknowledge what they're talking to you about, show them some empathy, and try and show them some support, and try and help get them through that. If that's just like a reassure, and sometimes it's just a reassuring chat that they need, and they don't want to be made to feel like they're a burden for opening up to you, because they're not a burden. They should never be seen as a burden. Um, and another thing I take away from what you've said as well, Josh, obviously, you obviously expressed how difficult it is to get support for certain mental health issues, certain complex cases. And when you, especially when you've got a few things that are going on with your mental health that you need some additional support for, I do think it's worth highlighting, and it's important to highlight this, that people should stay determined. If you want the help, you want the support, sometimes it can take a long time, but it's important that if you want to get better, if you want to achieve having a better life, because you want things to help you deal with what you're dealing with, sometimes you do need to give it that extra bit of time to get that support. Would that be fair in saying that?
Yeah, I agree. And well, it's not always too difficult if it's um, private, of course, because people just, if you've got the privilege to do that, you can get straight in with private. But
Hmm.
I think that it is there's not enough funding for mental health. It's just not there. And even people that don't have very, very complex mental health issues and it's just generalized anxiety and it can be tackled soon and they can overcome it. A lot of the time, even those people are waiting a year for help.
Hmm.
And then we're facing the thing where, because I've experienced this, you're feeling a little bit anxious, you're struggling, it's starting to affect your daily life and how you move and get around and go out and stuff. And you're waiting so long for the help that it then develops into something far more serious than it started with. And this is why charities like the charity that you're fundraising for, this is why those charities are so important, because the NHS is stretched, the funding isn't there, and obviously give it time and wait for that help. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, there's so many incredible charities that you can just call up. 24/7, and there's just somebody there who will just listen to you, because I really do feel that a bit of kindness and an open ear is incredibly important.
It goes a long way, I think.
It really does.
It certainly goes a long way, and especially for people within our community as well, because you know, we face those additional struggles of going through stages of, or the stages of coming out, you know, and you're always coming out throughout the whole life, to different people, and it's often the worry of coming out and the worry about how you're going to be received, perceived, reacted to, that again affects anxiety, affects depression and stuff like that. And you know, especially for our trans siblings as well, you know, the mental health struggles and the mental health tortures they must go through for simply wanting to be their true, genuine, authentic selves, especially with the way you look at how trans people are perceived in the media, on social media, by activist groups that are very anti-trans. You know, and it's important that everyone within the LGBTQ plus community knows that there is that support out there, and that people genuinely do care and will be out there for you. It's now time for Josh to be a moany old bitch. It's the complaints closet. The look you gave me then. So
Everyone's
Joshua,
missing out on these faces.
I know. We'll have to do video podcast one day.
Oh, I don't know
Something
about
different.
that. To do my hair.
It looks lovely. Anyway, Joshua, what are you complaining about this week to entertain us all with?
As everybody knows, it's now starting to get cold again. Well, it is, at least in England. So I've had to fish out all my coats, because I do like a smart coat.
Yeah.
And I have this same hatred every year, and then I put my coats away, and then when I get them out again, the hatred is reignited because I forget about it. And the thing that I'm sick of is fake pockets on coats. It's driving, it infuriates me. I'm paying about £200 for a coat sometimes, and then the pocket ain't real. It's just a little flap.
When you say the pocket ain't real,
it's not. No, it's not sewn closed. I know the difference. Some pockets do have a little thread sewing them shut, so no one can nick stuff in the shop. But I have some smart coats that weren't cheap. Now, why don't they have pockets? Because they have one pocket on the inside where I always put my phone, but then all the other pockets, they're just not real. They're just a flap. And you lift it up, and there's just coat. There's no hole or anything. So where do I put my keys and my wallet and stuff? Because you can't have a bag. No, I don't like things in my trouser pockets, because like when you sit down, you feel it, and I hate it. But why do coats not have pockets? Why is there not a pocket? Why even put a flap to make it look like a pocket?
I suppose it's for aesthetics.
Just give me a pocket. The lining's already there. The material flap is already there. So just cut a bloody line in it. It's a pocket.
So basically, what you're trying to say is you're not a fan of flaps.
Depends which ones. But I've had the same thing on jackets. I've had jackets that have pockets that aren't real. And it's I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. So now every time I buy a coat, although I have too many coats, but every time I buy a new coat or jacket, I have to check each individual pocket to make sure they are actually a pocket, because I'm sick of buying coats and then I can't put my keys anywhere because there's no bloody pocket. It's just a fake pocket.
So that's basically that's the little test as to whether you're going to buy a coat or not, or a jacket.
If it has even one fake pocket, I'm not buying it, because I feel like I'm paying for something that isn't real. You're not giving me the full coat. I'm not having the full experience of a pocket, so I'm not buying it.
Well, yeah, because what if it's cold and you want to put your hands in your jacket pockets as you're walking along?
See, exactly.
Just put them in your trouser pockets.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do that. As I said, I don't like anything
I,
in my. I don't like anything. And people, actually, I'm just going to say, people who put things in their back pocket.
I
People,
started you on something else now.
people who put things in their back pocket of their trousers. That is a red flag. They need a coat with pockets, not fake pockets, with pockets. So that's my complaint. So if you're going anywhere this winter to buy a coat or a jacket, check the pockets because you might be getting scammed out of a pocket. It might be a mystery flap that leads to nowhere where you can't put anything into it. So check the flaps.
No one needs a mystery flap.
Always check the flaps. That is my advice for the winter. And now you're gonna clip that into a short, and no one's gonna know what I mean. The
Maybe.
content I provide you. What's your
Yeah.
complaint?
My complaint is something that really bothers me. Now, I don't use public toilets that often. I try to avoid them, but sometimes there is the need to go and you need to use them.
You always come back around to bodily functions.
It's not bodily. It's not. This isn't necessarily about bodily functions,
Okay, we'll see.
but it's cheap toilet paper in public toilets.
Oh, it's gonna be about grossness in a toilet. What is
It's
it with you
cheap
and
cheap
toilets?
toilet paper in public toilets. And do you know why? Because there's nothing worse than when you go into the toilet, you need to wipe afterwards. There's nothing worse than your finger going through the paper and going right up your poop chute, is there?
I don't
There is
even
nothing
know.
worse.
Can I
There's
just
absolutely
say,
nothing.
why are you so loose that your entire, basically your whole hand just slips up there by accident?
I didn't I didn't say hand, I said finger.
It
There's a
starts with a
difference.
finger,
A
Nigel.
thing
Everybody knows this.
Yeah, but a hand has four fingers and one thumb, doesn't it? Yeah.
Starts with one
So
finger.
so five digits in all, right? I said finger. I said
This is
one.
why I do not use public toilets. I don't even like to pee in public toilets.
But it's
They're
like you're
just they're
going.
gross.
It's like, but like I say, you go. You try to sort of pull it down from the roll that it's on, and it just tears as you're
See,
pulling it down
I
because
don't
it's
know
so cheap and it's
why
so.
I don't know why they get cheap toilet roll because people are just going to use four times as much. Although I will say,
Exactly.
in the off chance I have used the public restroom, the worst toilet paper is that toilet paper that seems to be made out of wax paper.
You mean like tracing paper that you used to have in
Yeah,
schools?
that does. I don't even know who invented that, but they're going to hell. It's like it's been
They
coated in
they
wax.
they they used to
Nothing.
they
It's
used to give that to us in
waterproof.
schools. They used to give that to us in schools, and the reason why they used to give it to us in schools was because when they gave us proper toilet paper, everyone else, all the bad kids, what they did, they
But
started
they hit
getting it all under
ceilings.
the tap. They started getting loads of it, putting it under the tap, throwing it up at the ceiling, and it'd all be stuck on the ceiling.
Well, now they're just clogging toilets because it's wax paper.
Yeah, so they gave us what was effectively tracing paper to wipe our asses with. And not only did
So,
we wipe our ass with it, but we also took some of the skin off with it as well.
so you've had enough of cheap toilet roll.
Yeah, yeah, it just tears all the time. And like I
But
say,
there's also that toilet paper that's like 4 centimeters wide.
yeah,
Or you know the ones that come out of there's like a tiny, it's like a big wheel of toilet roll, and then it's just a little hole in the middle, and you have to like pull it out of the hole, and then you just end up with like a twisted strip of toilet roll, and like, what the fuck am I going
yeah.
to use that
But you
for?
put, but you're pulling it out. You're pulling it out, and you expect it to come out like those magicians when they pull those flags out of their
It
sleeves.
doesn't. You have
Yeah,
to
so
really
you
pull
expect it
it.
to keep coming and coming. Well, no, you don't. You have to pull it gently and slowly because as soon as you get to the end of one sheet, it tears. So if you want more than one sheet, you have to sort of be pulling and slowly, keeping going, keeping going. Otherwise, you pull it, you only get one sheet, and you think, well, that's not enough.
See, this is why I'll just use the urinal if I need a wee. Other than that, I'll just wait till I get home.
But
I'm
yeah,
not dealing with it.
yeah, but cheap toilet paper is shit.
This is why you enjoyed when we went to Spain and they had bidets.
Yes. Oh, B-Day was fun.
And I wondered why you was in the bathroom for an hour and a half.
No comment. And that is all we've got time for this week. We hope that this week's edition hasn't been too traumatic for you. We have spoken a lot about men's mental health and mental health within the LGBT community, and it may have given some of you a few things to think about. But we do hope that you take away from it that there is support out there. You can get that support, and as we've said, we will be listing a number of support agencies out there that can provide some support with mental health. And please remember, do not suffer in silence. You don't have to. And remember, if you are a man listening to this and you are experiencing difficulties, please reach out, talk to people, talk to your GP, try and get some counselling if you need it, get some mental health support. Just talk to a friend, talk to anyone, talk to someone that will give you that support. There is no shame, there is no embarrassment. I think that having shared our experiences, we have hopefully helped to give you some food for thought and some perhaps a little stepping stone or little push if you need support to get it. Or if you know someone that is struggling or suffering, reach out to them. Show them that you care. I think that's all important. Wouldn't you say, Josh?
Yes, and we will link various sources for help in all of the descriptions and underneath all the posts.
Yes. So we will be back again in a couple of weeks. So until then, stay safe and be happy.